Hey everybody, welcome back to this live episode of Think Business. I'm really looking forward, Gina, to talking with you. Everybody, Gina Kell Spehn. She is the co-founder of New Day Foundation for Families Fighting Cancer. And I'm excited to have you on for a couple reasons. One, I love giving a platform to nonprofits who are fighting cancer. But I've had we talked probably many, many months ago, but the episode that we recorded just went live. And so it's good to have you live.
Yeah, it's good to be here interacting with you.
Yeah, and talking about just the nonprofit world, which I think is very difficult right now. And I want to talk about how you're adjusting via COVID. As a reminder to everyone listening, in our last podcast, we talked about your movie, The Color of Rain, which was a book that you wrote, New York Times bestseller, that got turned into one of a top 10 Hallmark movie. So congratulations again on that.
Thank you. Thanks.
So Gina, let's kind of dive in. You know, I think the business of nonprofits has been really hurt with COVID. So let's start with talking a little bit about how you guys have adjusted, and remind everybody the core of your nonprofit and what you do.
Right. So New Day is all about supporting families who are affected by cancer. So our mission really focuses on the financial and emotional burdens, which, right now in the middle of a pandemic is quite easy to kind of explain to people what that really is. You combine a health crisis with a financial crisis. And in this case, with most of the families we work with, the financial crisis is caused by the health crisis, much like what the world is experiencing right now. So our mission is to provide them with emotional resources and financial assistance and financial planning and education and some financial navigation services as well. This season that we're in is, it obviously came out of nowhere, and the impact on our sector has been pretty dramatic, primarily for those of us who've been really our revenue is heavily impacted by events. So second quarter, we had 6 events that were planned and scheduled, all of which were canceled and or postponed. So for us, there was about $170,000 revenue gap to fill. And looking at the demand for the services that we provide during that season, we could see, okay, we're going to run into some problems because the cancer community is sort of getting a double whammy right now. They're dealing with the cancer, and they're dealing with the impact of that already, and now they're getting hit again. And it's taking even more families down, and having many of the social workers at the hospitals furloughed sort of limits their access to resources. So we knew that the demand for what we were doing was going to increase, and that the revenue was going to be down. So we had to figure out some creative ways and creative strategies for how to do this. And, fortunately, we've been able to do a lot of collaborating and having a lot of conversations. And there's about 1,000 webinars a day available to nonprofits to talk about these matters, how to host a virtual event, how to continue fundraising and maintaining relationships with your, donor base and communication and all those things. But then it comes down to, okay, enough webinars, let's get to work. And it's been a lot of grant writing, a lot of, an extraordinary amount of grant writing, which thankfully organizations like the United Way have had a dramatic increase in funding available to organizations like New Day. And the Carl's Foundation, another one we were able to access some resources, and several others as well, not to mention government funding. So, we've had to sort of step back from planning events and get to the work of really telling our story and communicating our mission effectively to granting organizations. And fortunately, we've been successful with that.
Yeah, that's great. Gina, let me ask you a question. When it comes to, I think, any business, or when it comes to, in this case, a nonprofit, which for all, you are running a business, even if it's a nonprofit, but your business in particular right now, it seems like it takes a lot of energy to just keep it going, keep the momentum, and so my question is, and I think this is relevant for every business owner, for every person out there, how quickly can you get back to center is the key to then kind of, get into alignment, take action, and continue to move forward. And I think a lot of people are just tired right now. And so how do you keep the energy, the momentum? How do you stay centered, get back to center so you can do what you got to do to keep everything moving forward?
Yeah, as a leader, I can say that for me, it's been really helpful to communicate with other leaders from nonprofits. I've had a few sort of high level, executive level conference calls where we can talk and share a little bit. It helps to kind of unload your brain on people who are in your same boat. It helps you feel so not alone. It also, for us, we have a tremendous team. And I think that if you had built an organization or a business with great employees, great team members who can kind of, when one's up, the other one's down maybe, and you guys can balance off of each other and play off of each other and really keep each other going. Our team is fantastic. Everybody was committed, but you could see when someone was running out of energy, we would have to after going through the process of applying for grant money from the government, I mean, a lot of people ran out of steam right after that because it's an exhausting process. But, you find your way back, and truly, we're so passionate. If you have that passion in your heart for what you do and you believe in what you're doing every day, to me, that's a bigger part of it than anything, is just having that drive, and it keeps you going. It keeps your energy good. You can't stay out of center very long. You really have to stay focused at a time like this. There isn't really a lot of wiggle room for falling out of line. You really just have to stay focused and recognize, number one, you're not alone. A lot of people felt, I think, isolated, not just physically isolated from people, but felt like they were the only one collapsing under the weight of this thing, in some ways. But once you recognize and start talking to other people and peers, it's like, yeah, we're in this together, and we can work together to bolster each other up and lean on not only your own team members, but really, John, other organizations, in my case, other organizations, saying, look, how do we collaborate? How do we share resources? How do we think together about solutions rather than, trying to fight independently and think with competitive mind, how we're going to go at this. It became more of a groupthink process. And honestly, that's where a lot of our good energy and hope and ability to keep going every day came from.
Yeah, that's great. I love that you, taking a note. So I love that you talk about that, and I just want to kind of highlight, one of the things I've seen, especially with companies post COVID, is they need to have a new playbook. They need to revisit their minimum 3-year vision, and they need to connect their values, their mission, their vision. They need to get it crystal clear, and then reverse engineer the path to the vision, and then get everybody in alignment in the entire company or organization in alignment with the vision. And what I see happening is the companies that mission and living their values and living their mission and living their purpose and living their plan, the ones that didn't have it or thought they did but didn't, it started to really kind of fall apart after COVID. And so the smart ones got right on it because they realized in order for the people to connect to, whether it's the nonprofit or the business, they needed that vision rock solid.
Yeah, that's a great point when you say, you have to think 3 years ahead, right? But in this situation, I mean, we're trying to think 3 months ahead.
Right, 3 days.
We don't know. But having had our vision in place and knowing what we wanted to do, like I'll give you an example. So, we had plans to expand the band of services that we provide, right? So we wanted to open up to financial planning services. We wanted to provide more of that, actually have financial planners working with the families that we work with. We want to expand our counseling program to have, a network of counselors across the state who can actually work with people in where they are, because we're located in Rochester Hills. And so if you're in Grand Rapids or, even if you're in Monroe, Michigan, it's hard to reach you. So we're trying to think about how we're going to expand these programs. Well, as soon as COVID hit, a lot of those plans had to be stopped, but we went, okay, wait, what is it where's the need right now? All of a sudden it was like all the energy for those programs went into, now we're going to shift into, we're going to literally grocery shop and deliver groceries to families who are affected by cancer. So right now, they don't need a counselor or a financial planner at this moment. What they need is food. And they need to not go into a store at the height of the pandemic. And so we were able to create new pathways to serve. We were able to meet needs based on assessing what our families needed. We sent out a survey to 500 families and said, what do you need right now? Help us understand where you are so that we can move in that direction with you and for you. So, and then we were able to rally, 80 plus volunteers in the last couple of months, really just to come together and help us put this program together and make it effective. And I can't believe the impact it's had. It's been incredible.
Yeah.
We provided close to 10,000 meals now for families, and it's been an incredible impact. And it's all because we had this big vision, we had some big projects planned, but we recognized that we need to make a move in a new direction and take all that energy and shift it. That's it. That's all we did. It was simple.
That's beautiful what you've done. I love hearing that. To do what you do, from my perspective, my eyes, takes a ton of selflessness, right? And so I just kind of want to talk a little bit about where is this in, how did you know that something like this was in your purpose, your calling to do this? Because this is not a 9-to-5 job. This isn't, go to work, get a paycheck. Not that there's anything wrong with that, go to work, get a paycheck. There's, you're getting a paycheck every other Friday and your healthcare is paid for, et cetera. But you're really of service to this huge, global, cancer outreach, energy. And so how did you kind of dial into that?
Well, my story is that I lost my first husband to cancer 15 years ago, and I remarried a man who lost his first wife to cancer. So we shared this common bond of knowing what that experience is like. So once you live it, you want to reach out and help families. And in addition to that, our son was diagnosed with glioblastoma for almost 5 years ago, actually in November. He's doing great. And so, but again, I could tell you, I could go through literally a dozen names of my family members who have gone through cancer, most of whom we've lost to the disease. So I am so passionate about this, John. This is something that it doesn't take anything for me to get up out of bed every day and want to go to work. I don't think about it. I can't wait to do what I do every day because I see what it is that we're trying to accomplish here. It's more than just providing financial assistance.
Yeah.
It's more than that. It's saving lives, really. It's actually, the systemic impact of what we do goes beyond the patient. It affects the immediate family. It affects that surrounding community. It affects the businesses and the creditors and the companies that these families interact with. It affects the hospital systems. I mean, what we're doing is providing really a service to these hospitals.
Yeah.
We're with 49 hospitals, and the more we can do for their patients, the better the outcomes will ultimately be for their patients, and the bottom line will be impacted. As long as we can keep them in good insurance plans or keep them in their homes and not going bankrupt, keeping the basic necessities of their life intact while they're going through cancer, we can literally change the outcome for the patient and ultimately benefit these hospital systems. So we're super passionate about it, about getting the word out, about developing new partners in the community. I have dreams of having DT Energy and Consumers Energy in a partnership with these companies where we can go to them and say, every year we spend about $50,000 of our money to help patients. And if you guys could, give us a fund, that we can work with just for the cancer community, we could change a lot of lives and save a lot of lives, change a lot of lives, and have a really incredible impact on the community.
Yeah. Well, kudos to you, because I think a lot of people who go through as much as you did run away from it and don't necessarily run away from it, but you run into the fire to help more people. I think it's great. You remind me of my friend Johnny Immerman. I don't know if you know each other.
Oh.
Immerman Angels.
I love Johnny.
Yeah.
He's like my brother from another mother.
Johnny and his brother Jeff are really close friends of mine. I actually was involved with Immerman Angels. I still am. I'm a mentor. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah.
I'm an Immerman Angel myself, and
I'm an Immerman Angel. Yeah, I'm an 18-year cancer survivor, and I am an Immerman Angel. I worked with Johnny to have a Detroit chapter for many years here that I led, and Johnny's great. I actually played tennis with his brother, who's a good friend of mine, yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeff's a good friend.
Yeah, they're such great guys.
And Jamie, but their mom. But what the two of you are very similar. I mean, there's like this internal, selfless, giving heart mission to help so many people of what having gone through so much, and really, I guess there's that saying, you teach your pain, right? Your business is your pain. So kudos to you. I just think it's beautiful what you're doing, and I'm glad you know Johnny, because Johnny is,
oh my God,
he's the greatest.
If you're in the cancer space, you know Johnny Immerman. I mean, he's kind of an icon in this field, and he's truly a hero to me. In a lot of ways, he's a mentor to me, and he's become a really dear friend. And I really do have a lot of respect for him, and I feel the same way. We share the passion for what we do. Definitely.
Yeah. So let's talk about how to move into a virtual, right? A lot of these nonprofits are trying to figure out, they're not having golf outings, they're not having annual galas, they're not having, the list goes on, and they're trying to figure out how to communicate via virtual and get the feel and the energy, so they can get the dollars they need to run their organizations. How are you adapting when it comes to virtual events?
This one was hard for me. I'll be honest with you. We love, being we go to the Fillmore the last couple of years. We've had these incredible events, and it was just so hard to imagine not being together and not having these opportunities to connect with people. And it took us really months to kind of figure it out. Now, honestly, if I'm honest, I haven't really seen a ton of virtual events that I think are just like outstanding. But I do think that if you can get a little creative, try to, hold people's attention for an hour and not bog people down with too much of their time at their, at this box that we sit at a lot nowadays. It's still viable. I have some donors who have said to me, we're going to reward organizations that continue to do live events, and we're going to, and I felt like, well, when you sign a contract that cannot be honored, and you're committed to that contract, it's really hard to just move forward and host that live event, even if you really desperately wanted to. But we work in the cancer space, and our population is extremely vulnerable, and it's just irresponsible of us to think that way. So we have finally figured it out, though. So we work now with an event company. It's called Special D Events. They're phenomenal to work with. And we're working also with AVL and Display Group, and they're helping us craft a 1 hour event. We're going to have some celebrities. We're going to have some local celebrities, some, Hollywood types, and we're going to have make it as fun and engaging as we can, but really telling the stories of the families that we're helping, so that you understand exactly what this thing is about without boring the socks off of you. You know what I mean? So,
well, I'm happy to be part of the virtual event. If you need anybody to talk about, business or ideas or anything of that nature. So I'll just throw that out there. I'm happy to support you. Yeah, of course, you're an amazing foundation. And so I want to talk a little bit about the person who is at home and wants to do one of two things. Mm-hmm. They have always wanted to start their own nonprofit for whatever category, right? They want. So let's start there. So the person saying, "Yeah, you know what? I really want to get back to honor the memory of X, or to, A, B, or C." What is that? What's the first couple steps you got to take for that?
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, I'm going to say something that might not be popular, first of all, if you have to start your own organization, by all means do it. Find a good attorney friend who knows how to read through and decipher some of the documents, and can help you get bylaws set up, and can help you really get the foundation of your foundation or your organization set up. But before that, I like to tell people, I've been asked this question a few times in the last couple of years. And I say to people, have you looked around at the organizations that exist first? What are they doing? And can you get involved as opposed to starting your own?
Well, that's great advice. That's great advice, because I think sometimes people don't think like that. Right.
Yeah, there's too many of us, and we need more people doing the work and fewer people, to kind of, work alongside. We're too fragmented. There's too much.
Yeah.
We just need to consolidate. And right now, by the way, that's how most organizations are going to survive, if at all, is that they're going to have to consolidate. They're going to have to collaborate more. And so my advice is, first, do your research, see what's out there, and see how you can join in. Or if you see a gap, if there's something missing, that this needs not being met in our community, now start the organization. But my guess is it's being met 10 times over by organizations that just don't have the bandwidth or the hands on deck to get the work done. So I highly recommend, reaching out to those who exist.
Yeah, that's great advice. Well, my next question was going to be, how do people get involved? And this, but not just, that's not my only question. It's really, how do they get involved so they don't feel like they're always disappointing and letting somebody down or disappointing somebody? Because I think sometimes people think, I want to be involved, sometimes just financially, or I want to be involved for maybe an hour, a quarter, right? Just they want to do a little piece without feeling like they have to do too much.
That's a great question, because people always say things to me like, oh, I wish I could do more. And I'm like, I don't need you to do more. I just need you to do what you're able to do, whatever that is. And, or somebody will give a substantial gift one year and the next year they can't, and they're feeling guilt about it. Or whatever. And I always say to them, this works by that when we all do what we can today, we're good. So if you can't do today, that's okay. So I try to grant people permission to do what they're able and to not have that feeling of not doing enough or that guilt stuff that people have going on. I mean, that's maybe something you got to work out with a therapist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
hear what you're saying, but I think sometimes people get involved and they say, oh, I want to do this and I want to do this. And then they realize, wait, especially now with COVID, wait, my kids are home from school, I'm homeschooling, I'm this and I can't, it's, I think my advice to people would be, start really small, right? Like find a charity you like and donate $10, right? Donate. Like, there's no amount that's too small in today's world.
Oh, that's so true.
Donate whatever, resonates with you. And if you want, maybe give an hour of your time. And then if it makes sense, give an hour, 30 minutes once a month, and then slowly get into it. Not for necessarily, because I think people start to feel guilty and then they just cut off and don't do anything. Because they say, I got in too deep, I can't go backwards now.
You're exactly right. And I was going to make a point when you said about giving. What helps organizations is giving consistently. And people think that means big gift every year. All it means is if you can do $10 a month, by the end of the year, there's a nice $120 gift to the organization that you weren't, you know what I mean? Rather than writing the $120 check, it's a little bit every month.
Right.
That helps, and it's consistent and it's ongoing, and we know we can count on it year to year, and it adds up. It really does. So
it adds up big time, and it compounds. And to me, there's an energy of giving, right? So I rather give $10 a month than 120 in one piece, because the reminder of what you've given each month does something to the soul. It just, and we're using $10. It could be $1. I'm not here to spend other people's money, but I think that is, if we all give a little bit more, we just raise the frequency and vibration of the world. And I think that's important. Yeah.
That's so true. And you know what? I think the success of our grocery shopping and delivery program is that it's so simple. People are already going to the store. It's not a big deal to them to pick up another 15 items for one and then drop them off at their door. It's literally kind of woven into their day. It's organic to their day. And they found it. I mean, to get 80 new volunteers in a matter of just a couple of months, I thought was a pretty big jump for us. And because it's manageable. Yeah.
Well, delivering, you deliver groceries to people, which is right. I mean, that's huge. Growing up, my mom had a lung disease. It was called alpha-1 antitrypsin. And basically, she was born without a gene that caused her to ultimately have emphysema because she was missing a gene. And through her disease, one of the things she always used to talk about is she never wanted to lose her dignity. And so when I hear things like this, right, like, hey, I'm at the store already, I'm picking up a couple of things, dropping it off, not a big deal, this, that, and the other. That's what I love about that service, because you're just kind of, people can keep their dignity intact and have it. And it's just about the energy exchange that you're just dropping off. And just the way that you describe it, I think is beautiful. Everything about your organization, I think, is great. And so tell everybody how they can get a hold of you. Well, anything, is there anything that we didn't talk about that you wanted to make mention of?
I would want to mention maybe just the events that we have coming up.
Yeah.
There's a couple of easy ways to do it, because we are doing a 5K that's at the end of August. It's virtual. So basically,
oh, that's cool.
You're going to run anywhere. You're going to walk anywhere. In fact, if you just want to say you did it and take a picture from your couch, you can do that too. But it's just a $25 registration fee. We'll get you a T-shirt that says you did it. And you're part of something that's not, where we can't be together at the park to run it, but we're going to just do it all over the place and post all of our social media, live videos and things like that.
Oh, that's great.
So, and then the bigger event is we're calling it the Hope Shines No Show Glow. That's our big annual gala that would typically be at the Fillmore. So that's on a Thursday night. It's September 17th. Joanne Purton is going to be our host.
Oh, nice.
The actress who played me in the Hallmark movie, Lacey Chabert, she's going to be with us that night. We're going to have a lot of local celebrities, radio personalities, TV personalities. You'll recognize a lot of the faces, some athletes from our community as well. We're working on getting a lot of excitement generated through them. So those are the two events. So August 29th and September 17th, and it's all on our website at foundationforfamilies.org.
Good. Will you put me on your mailing list and send me some information on both those?
You better already be on that mailing list. If you're
I don't know if I am. Yeah, put me on.
Heck yeah.
All right, Gina, it's always a pleasure talking with you. A quick speed round for you. Best piece of advice you've ever received.
Oh my gosh, speed. Best piece of advice I've ever received. Love God, love others.
That's a good one. Favorite book and why?
Ooh, favorite book. The Bible, for obvious reasons.
Yeah, that's probably the most popular book when I ask people that question. Yeah. And then my last question is, finish this sentence, actually. Giving is?
Pure joy.
All right. Gina, I appreciate everything that you guys are doing. Tell everybody how they can get a hold of you.
You can get a hold of me through our website at foundationforfamilies.org, or you can just send me an email, gina@newdayff.org.
All right. Gina, always a pleasure talking with you. I'm so glad we had this opportunity to talk again. Put me on your mailing list, and if there's anything I can do for you and your foundation, let me know. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Gina.